A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey is without a doubt a bad movie. But I can't say that it's a total waste of time. You know, when the movie finally ended and I was free, I was like, what a waste of my time. But then I thought about it and I was like, I kind of liked some of those sequences. So then again, as I said, I can't say it was a total waste of time. That's what you can put on the poster. Not a total waste of time. So I did kind of roll my eyes when Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie started doing some of their scenes on a black box stage. That's the kind of movie this is. And some of the dialogue is definitely cringe-worthy. And yet, I really liked the cast, who I think all do a fantastic job here. And I sort of appreciate the big artistic swing taken here by filmmaker Kogonada. So Kogonada was born in South Korea, but his family actually moved to Chicago and I believe Indiana. He spent his time in those two places growing up when he was starting out very little. So he's basically, grew up in America. And he went on to become an experimental filmmaker and then went on to direct episodes of Pachinko. Great show, but took too long for season 2, so I abandoned it. Maybe I should circle back. Anyone watch Pachinko season 2? Was it good? And The Acolyte, which, I liked up until a point. So what's interesting to me, though, about his work here is that it does feel very anime-inspired. Do you remember that anime movie, Your Name, from a couple of years ago? I think it was released in 2016, but then came to North America in 2017. And it was like this big global sensation. And it was a good movie. And it was really artistic. And I think it also featured umbrellas, as I might recall. But I think Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, to me, feels very similar. And interestingly, I think if this movie had been made with an Asian or even a European cast, or had been anime, I think it would be more effective than it is as an American live-action movie. Case in point, Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Kevin Kline's German car rental agents. Their scene is fabulous. It might be, I think that and when Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie first meet at the wedding. I think those are my favorite scenes in the film. And they're at the top of the movie. But, they were good enough to make me be somewhat invested in the rest of the film. But their scene, Waller-Bridge and Kline, is just tremendous. And I think that Waller-Bridge's manic performance balances perfectly with Kline's softer take. Both of them are very funny. And making them German perfectly fits with the material. Farrell and Robbie are certainly game, but this kind of self-discovery, abstract way of thought, existentialism is just not very American. And I know that Farrell is Irish and Robbie is Australian, but in this movie, they both have big American energy. And there ain't nothing wrong with big American energy, but it just doesn't fit with the material. Hollywood has tried, although some of you are probably like, yes, I think there is, but you get what I'm saying. So Hollywood has tried to make this type of movie before. A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey actually reminded me quite a bit of 1992's Toys. And also, interestingly, another Robin Williams movie, What Dreams May Come. Maybe back in the day, this would have been also a Robin Williams film. Colin Farrell's not a bad stand-in. But neither of those movies did particularly well, particularly when you factor in their budget for all the VFX and stuff. But they do have their fans, right? I thought What Dreams May Come was okay. I mean, again, I respected its artistry. But I kind of really liked Toys, right? I mean, I haven't watched it in a very long time. I saw it when it was some movie my parents showed me when I was little. But it did kind of stick with me. And for a while, I listened to that soundtrack a lot. I would put A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey somewhere in between these two films. So, what didn't I like about the movie? By the way, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I've got movie reviews, box office reports, spoiler breakdowns, intense coverage of the biggest trailers, and live streams. So if you hit that subscribe button and the little bell, you'll get notifications as soon as my latest videos go up, and also a 30-minute notification when I'm about to go live. So hit that subscribe button and the like button as well. All right, so again, as I said, what didn't I like? Let's start there. I think a lot of the time, this movie tries too hard. Robbie's character reminded me quite a bit of Gina Davis's character in The Accidental Tourist, which, by the way, I do believe she won an Oscar for. But, we've seen that character a lot at this point. That quirky kind of female character that's supposed to challenge everything about the male character, his way of life, how he thinks, how he acts in a flirty way, but also, let's be honest, sometimes in an annoying way. Also, in a movie where it's raining a lot, it drove me crazy that she was wearing knee-high suede boots. Those will get ruined. Why would you put those on if it's raining? I mean, maybe she sprayed a protective spray on them, but it was just, I told that to a friend of mine and they were like, you must have been really bored if you were noticing her boots. And I was like, they were huge. They were a big part of the outfit. All right, so anyway. I also think that Colin Farrell is a scooch too old for the role. I mean, no matter how good he is in it, the movie just acts like he's in a different stage of his life. And maybe he really is that behind in his development, right? I mean, that happens to some people. No judgment. But then the movie should have addressed it. The movie should have been like, whew, you got to make up for lost time, Colin Farrell. Also, the script can be sometimes I actually like the script, but sometimes I did not. It was way too on the nose. Like the movie was at points. It seemed like it was written by someone who did greeting cards or motivational posters. Like you could find this movie browsing in Hallmark. When you couple the dialogue and some of the imagery, it's just like if you gave AI a whole bunch of Hallmark greeting cards and merch, this is the movie that it would pump out. Also, the movie is intentionally abstract. Now, I got the gag. What they did was like, they were from the same city. So he was from the north side and she was from downtown. They never discussed their jobs and they didn't seem to have any hobbies or interests, right? Like in many ways, they did not seem like real people. And I got what they were going for, but I've seen some people frustrated for it. I saw someone else call out the movie for saying, there's one character that says, oh, I made reservations at your favorite restaurant. And they're like, why not just say the name of the restaurant? And you're like, because it's abstract and it's you're supposed to get the idea, because the idea is that it could be your favorite restaurant. You're supposed to I think the movie wants you to insert yourself here in a way. So again, I understood it, but it's not working for a lot of people. And I do have to point out that in a movie full of abstracts, the very specific Burger King product placement sure stands out, glaringly so. But it did make me want a fast food cheeseburger. Not a Whopper, I'm sorry to say. They actually said a Whopper. That was nuts. And by the way, kudos to Margot Robbie. Respect for actually eating in the scene. Although then I think she went too far by her character saying she eats, I think maybe she was just being flirty, but she was like, oh, she eats fast food cheeseburgers morning, noon, and night. And you're like, there's no way you do. But it was still very charming. But it did make me want a fast food cheeseburger. Not from Burger King, though. I'm not a Burger King fan. My top draft pick would be Shake Shack with McDonald's close behind, because we're talking burgers, not delicious McNuggies. So how about you? What fast food burger would you go for? Another issue with the film is that it plays more like a big, bold, beautiful therapy session. Hoo boy! It's like a 2-hour therapy session for someone else that you have to sit through. Like some of the breakthroughs that they make are actually pretty good. You're like, well, I think you really helped that person. But I mean, like 2 hours of someone else's problems is a lot to take. Good thing I was really rooting for these two. Okay, so yes, let's talk about what I liked about the film. So obviously, as I said, I respected the artistic aspects of it and the anime quality. I liked all that a lot. But I think what really carries the film are the performances. Colin Farrell and Margot Robbie are fantastic here. They light up the screen with their charisma and their chemistry. They shouldn't work as a couple, and yet there I was, rooting for them. Like at that wedding, there's like a missed opportunity for Colin Farrell's character, and he made me feel his regret so profoundly, like it propelled me through the whole rest of the movie. I was like, you got another chance, Farrell. You can do this. I mean, it was really very charming. And he, by the way, has a dance number. I don't know if that was him actually singing, but boy, did he do a good job in that musical number. He was excellent. I think the film is very romantic. Now, I don't think I would go on it for a date because it does have some really awful moments. It's tough to sit through, so it might be tough to recover from that afterwards on your date. Also, they deal with some really difficult aspects of relationships that I don't really know if you're going to want to address, especially, I don't know what stage you are in your relationship, but ask yourself if it can take that kind of scrutiny. But if you like a good romance, this is a good movie to watch by yourself, right? It's one of those give you the feels, like, isn't that charming kind of a situation. Farrell and Robbie are given very difficult scenes with very difficult dialogue, as I said. I mean, if it ever works at all, it's to their credit. And a lot of choreography, because this movie is so strong visually and is making, is trying to be living art. They have to hit their marks and kind of create scenes, visually. And they do that. They totally deliver. I mean, they're just fabulous. They do again, as I said, they're miscast and they don't work with the material, but gosh darn it, they tried their best. And that's what I think, put that on the poster as well. Not a total waste of time. They did try their best. But there's something to that. And I thought they were both very personable. Then, as I said, I also loved Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Kevin Kline's extended cameo. I mean, this movie will make you remember when we all fell in love with Phoebe Waller-Bridge in the first place. It's been hard to remember, but she really can be so funny. And Hamish Linklater, here he is again. I just got done praising him in Gen V. I love Hamish Linklater. He plays Farrell's father in flashbacks, which is actually, I gotta say, pretty good casting. And they have a really beautiful scene together. I'm not big on talking about emotions or looking into the past, so the fact that I could stand this movie at all said something about it. So as you can see, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey is a mixed bag. A lot of the times when I was watching it, I wished it would end because I just didn't know how much more I could take. But then it would surprise me with a poignant scene or a charismatic performance, and it swept me away, at least momentarily, with the story and its characters. I cannot recommend that you see this in theaters. I think it's going to be a tough thing to watch. It's one of those movies that's more like an exhibit at a modern art museum than narrative entertainment. It's in the wrong venue, and it's too long for what it is. But maybe, down the line, you might watch it at home, or better yet, on an airplane. This would be a fantastic movie to watch when you're traveling, when you're taking your own big, bold, beautiful journey, and that might add a little more resonance to it, which, again, might help make it a little bit more watchable. So again, as I said, there are moments I really enjoyed, but overall, this big, bold swing is a big, bold miss. But I give them credit for trying. And that's my review of A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey, now playing in theaters, but soon on digital and streaming. Share your thoughts down below, subscribe today, and of course, as always, you can check out some more videos right now.